Before the first pale light of dawn kissed Venice's winding canals, the city was already awake, but in ways most would never see. Behind gilded palaces and ornate façades, through narrow alleys swallowed by shadow, a silent force moved through the mist: the city guards. 15th century Venice was no ordinary city. It sparkled with merchants, gondolas, and dazzling wealth, but beneath the glitter, it was a labyrinth of power, secrets, and danger. Chaos could erupt at any moment, and it often did. The night never truly slept. Gondoliers glided along fog-choked canals, their boats cutting through water like knives. Hooves clattered across stone bridges, echoing across empty piazzas. Murmurs of distant conversations floated on the mist, punctuated by the occasional blast of a watchman's horn. But the darkness held more than whispers. It hid crime. Pickpockets, thieves, even assassins slipped through the alleys, invisible and patient, waiting for the perfect moment. And every night, it was the guards who stood between order and chaos, silent, vigilant, eyes sweeping the city that never truly rested. Before the first pale light of dawn touched Venice's winding canals, the city was already awake, but in ways most would never see. Behind gilded palaces and ornate façades, down alleys swallowed by shadow, a silent force moved through the mist: the city guards. 15th century Venice was no ordinary city. It glittered with merchants, gondolas, and unimaginable wealth, but beneath the sparkle lay a labyrinth of power, secrets, and danger. Chaos could erupt at any moment, and often it did. The night never truly slept. Gondoliers drifted along fog-choked canals, their boats slicing through water like blades. Hooves clattered across stone bridges, echoing through empty piazzas. Murmurs of distant conversations floated on the mist, broken by the occasional blast of a watchman's horn. Yet the darkness held more than whispers. It hid crime. Pickpockets, thieves, even assassins prowled the alleys, invisible and patient, waiting for the perfect moment. And every night, the guards stood between order and chaos, silent, vigilant, their eyes sweeping the city that never truly rested. Venice was a city of secrets, and the guards knew them all. Every district had its watchers, teams who memorized every doorway, every hidden alley, every clandestine canal. They noticed which houses burned bright past curfew, which shadows moved too fast, which murmurs hinted at plots, quarrels, or something far worse. In this city, knowledge was the deadliest weapon. A guard's reputation wasn't measured by the swing of a sword, but by cunning, intuition, and an unshakable sense of Venice's heartbeat. To survive, to enforce order, to protect a city that could swallow the careless whole, one had to be more than strong. One had to be all-seeing. Tonight, the city watches and waits. Crime in 15th century Venice was as intricate and unpredictable as the canals themselves. Pickpockets slithered through crowded markets like shadows, fingers nimble and eyes sharper than any lantern. Smugglers, forgers, and conmen threatened the delicate balance of the Republic's wealth. Rival families and gangs could ignite street fights without warning, turning narrow alleys into sudden battlegrounds. In a city of light and shadow, survival was never guaranteed, and the guards were the thin line between order and chaos. The city guards were more than peacekeepers. They were a living reminder that Venice was not just a city of canals and glittering palaces. It was a city ruled by law, by order, and by the ever-watchful eyes of the state. Their patrols were meticulous, exhaustive. As dusk settled, guards took positions at the city's arteries, the Rialto Bridge, bustling market streets, and the entrances to the noble districts. From these points they fanned out, some on foot, some on horseback, eyes sharp, lanterns slicing. Through the fog, weapons ready. Every detail mattered. A misplaced step, a furtive glance, a whispered conversation. Each could signal the stirrings of crime. In Venice, even the smallest shadow could conceal a threat, and the guards had to see it all. Because in a city built on water, wealth, and secrets, one mistake could drown you. The guards did more than patrol. They enforced the very rhythm of Venetian life. Children and laborers were expected indoors after dark. Taverns were monitored for brawls, gambling dens scrutinized for deceit. But vigilance alone was not enough. Intelligence was their true weapon. Spies, informants, even trusted merchants whispered secrets into the ears of the city's guardians, revealing plots that could topple fortunes or threaten the fragile balance of the Republic itself. Violence lurked in every shadow. A nighttime patrol might stumble upon a thief rifling through a merchant's warehouse, or intervene between sailors drunk on rum, fists flying in a narrow alley. In these twisting, labyrinthine streets, the guards' training was precise and deadly. Hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, and tactical positioning allowed them to subdue criminals with the efficiency of predators stalking prey. Yet discipline was just as vital as strength. A misjudged strike, an unnecessary display of force, could ignite unrest or scandal, luxuries Venice could never afford. Every motion was calculated, every decision weighed against the delicate machinery of a city built on wealth, secrecy, and shadows. In Venice, the night was alive, and the guards, they were its pulse. Despite the danger, life as a city guard carried a rare kind of honor. Venice prided itself on law and order, and its guards were respected and feared. They were the protectors of wealth, stability, and the delicate balance that allowed this floating city to thrive. Their duty went beyond the practical. It was symbolic. In a city famed for glittering palaces, winding canals, and mercantile brilliance, the guards were the invisible backbone of the Republic, the silent shield that let commerce flourish and the elite govern with relative safety. As dawn spilled its first light across the lagoon, the night patrols withdrew. Fog lifted, merchants opened their stalls, gondolas drifted along the canals, and Venice resumed its daily rhythm. Yet the work of the guards never truly ended. When evening shadows stretched across stone bridges and narrow alleys, they would return to their posts, the unsung sentinels of a city both radiant and perilous, a city whose safety rested on the vigilance of men who watched while the rest of Venice slept. Because in Venice, beauty and danger were inseparable, and it was the guards who walked the line between the two. Life in 15th century Venice was a delicate dance. Beauty and danger, commerce and crime, light and shadow. And at its very heart, moving silently through the fog, were the city. Guards, tireless eyes, steady hands, the unseen force of a republic that understood this. Power is never secure without vigilance, and freedom in a floating city demands those willing to watch, to act, and to endure the long, unforgiving nights. In Venice, the streets never truly slept, and neither did those who kept them alive.